What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Vlogmas. Today's Vlogmas video is just going to be a little bit of a sit down where I'm going to share some knowledge with you. So you probably know if you've been watching Vlogmas on my channel, some days I'll do a vlog and other days I'll do more of a sit down and just like chat with you guys. Or recently I posted a haul. I showed you guys some of the best clothes that I've gotten recently. I'm going to be doing an Amazon haul soon, so stay tuned for that. But today's video specifically is going to be how to start a podcast. And I'm coming at you from the perspective of I started my own podcast with my friend Marissa a couple years ago, which is really weird to say that it's been a few years, but I'm just going to tell you step by step how I started my podcast so that if you're thinking about starting one too, you can follow these steps and get started. The first step in starting your podcast, or at least what I wrote down, is step 1, get organized. This is a very important step because you want to have some sort of guide of where you're going, and it doesn't have to be super crazy, but being organized was like the number one thing, and it is the number one thing that keeps Marissa and I on track with our podcast. So before we get too deep, I will give a shout out to our podcast called Werunoncoffee. If you haven't listened, definitely head over and check it out. We have so much fun on the pod. It's a really, really good show, and it comes out every single week, and we've literally been doing it for years. So it's really exciting, and in 2025, we will be releasing video episodes, so it's so exciting. So subscribe to the Werunoncoffee podcast YouTube channel, or follow us on Spotify, or both, and you can actually watch the video episodes in the new year. So anyway, step 1, like I said, is to get organized. So having an idea for your podcast and getting a plan set up before you get it in motion is really the two key things. So Marissa and I record our podcast every other Sunday. So every 2 weeks on Sunday, we sit down and we record 2 episodes at that time. And then those 2 episodes come out roughly 2.5 weeks and 3.5 weeks away from when we filmed them. So that's the best schedule that works for us because filming every week was a little bit too demanding, and having to record and edit and turn the whole episode around in less than 2 weeks was also too demanding. So we found the perfect spot for us, which is recording 2.5 weeks out, and that gives us plenty of time to edit the episode and schedule it to go live and stay on track. So having some sort of schedule or routine plan is going to help in the beginning. As far as topics go, there's not a big theme to our podcast. We call it lifestyle, and we really just talk about whatever we want. We've talked about everything from true crime cases to forensic psychology, forensic analysis. We've done personality test series. We've done numerology. We've done marketing topics. We've done how to become a runner when you hate running. We've done every topic under the sun that's just of interest to either of us. So that's what our podcast is about, really just an amalgamation of the things that her and I both love. And there's no strong theme or direction. We both love coffee. That's why it's called We Run on Coffee, and that's a fun little play. But I know a lot of creators will say you have to find your niche, and that's the only way you can be successful is if you're very, very niche. And while that's one way you can be successful, I don't think it's the only way. So I think having some idea of what you want to discuss is helpful, but not required. Marissa and I both brainstorm topics and decide on what we're going to talk about each week. So sometimes it's an equal contribution from both of us on the topic, the research, the talking, all of that. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes we decide to take turns or surprise each other, or I'll pick a topic that means something to me or is important to me, and I'll present it to Marissa kind of during the episode and get her reaction, or we'll surprise each other with like surprise topics the other person doesn't know is coming but is of interest to one of us, and we just do a bunch of research and it's a lot of fun. As far as getting organized goes, the other key is we have a Trello board. So Trello is a project management tool, and we use a free version. I will be sharing a lot of free resources in this video so that if you're thinking about starting a podcast, you know, you can just get started with your phone or whatever with programs that are completely free to use and easy to use. So the other thing about getting organized is having somewhere where your ideas live. For us, it's Trello. So we have a Trello board. We have a few columns. One says to do, one says doing, and one says done. And we kind of move stuff through. So when we have an idea for an episode, we'll put it on the to-do list and we'll give it a date, like its air date that we're going to post it live. And then we will move it to doing once we start recording that episode 2.5 weeks early. And then we move it to done once it's published and live. And that's kind of like our workflow. That's what we call it. Getting organized somewhere like Trello or Google Calendar or your notes or anywhere is really important in getting started so that you have a schedule that you can stay on top of and understand, especially if you have a co-host. Once you're organized, the next step that I wrote down is to plan your first recording, which is very exciting. So pick a day and prep your setup, prep your materials, and get ready to record. So I wrote down a little list that I'm going to share with you guys of resources on how you can record your episodes. So the first thing is that you could use Zoom. Zoom has a free account, and on the free account you can actually get 40 minutes of video call for free. So as long as you stay under 40 minutes or you end the Zoom call and start another one, you can record for free, and you can actually record video there. So if you're using your phone or your laptop, you can just record video and audio with a camera on your device or a microphone on your device, and that's like the easiest, cheapest way to do this, completely free. Another way to record that is what Marissa and I have done for the past couple years, is using another free program called Audacity. So this program, you download it onto your computer, and it's an audio only recording, and you can use audio from, like, if you have headphones with a microphone on them, you can buy a microphone, which we'll get into, whatever, but it will record audio only. And me and Marissa record 2 separate tracks. I record on my computer by myself in Ohio. She records on her computer by herself in Virginia. And then we send the files to each other, and we can edit right in Audacity. All completely free. The third platform, this is another editing platform. This is Adobe Premiere Pro. This is not free, this is paid. However, if you're going to do a video podcast and you actually want to make edits to it, you'll need somewhere to edit it, and a lot of times video editing softwares are not free. So Premiere Pro is what Marissa and I will be using in the new year when we launch our video episodes, and I'm really excited about that. So that is how you can edit video and audio at the same time. And the last 2 things that are important to keep in mind when you're prepping for your very first episode recording are your headphones and your microphone. So, like I said, if you're trying to just do this, you're trying to just start, just get off the ground, just see if you even like podcasting, it's not necessary to buy equipment. You can use your cell phone, literally just how it is. If you have earbuds like AirPods, you can use that. It's totally possible. And if you've already done that, you've already started and you want to upgrade, or if you're getting started but you're willing to put in a little bit of money, you can get some equipment. So I'll recommend the microphone that I have. It's a very low cost one on Amazon as far as microphones go, but it's the Samsung Q2U microphone. Marissa and I both bought these. They're about $60, and we both bought them when we first started because audio quality was important to us, and I'm so glad we did it because our audio honestly sounds really good most of the time. Sometimes they can be a little bit finicky, but it's nothing that we can't handle, and we've never had to scrap an episode ever, which is really impressive, I feel like. When we first started the podcast, our very first episode, we recorded it like 3 times, and that's because we were messing around with different platforms. But as far as audio quality goes, we've never had to throw away an episode for audio quality. It's been amazing. So I really like this microphone. And then the other thing to consider when you're using a microphone is you want to hear your co-host, if you have a co-host, or you want to hear yourself if you're recording alone. So you'll want headphones. So the way that I do this is I use these headphones that are called V-Moda, and I would highly recommend them, but I'm also not going to get into them too deep because they're very, very, very pricey. And they're not required for this. You could just use earbuds. I know Marissa uses Beats. She uses her Beats over the ear headphones. But when you use the Samsung Q2U microphone, you can actually plug your headphones right into the microphone, and then you can hear yourself and your co-host speaking at the same time, which is really, really nice. If you have a co-host like I do and you're doing virtual, Marissa and I will get on a Zoom call on one part of our screen, and then we'll open Audacity on the other part of our screen. And the way that works is that I can hear her in my headphones through Zoom, but my microphone can't hear her because I'm using headphones. It can only hear me. And that's the way that they don't interfere with each other. So like I said, I have my own audio track and she has hers, and then we just put them together, and that's how we have our audio only podcast. So that is planning, getting ready, having equipment, and getting set up. But the next step is to actually record your episode. Like I said, you can use a Zoom to actually just record yourself and do it all in one place and have video, or you can use Audacity if you're trying to do just audio only, or if you just want that free software and you don't need the video aspect. Like if you're recording alone, Audacity would be a great choice. On your actual recording day, all you're gonna do is hit the record button and start talking. It's really that simple. You honestly don't even have to edit your episodes if you don't want to. If you just have one long audio stream where you just let your thoughts flow and you let everything out, you can leave it that way too, and that totally works. So when you're actually recording, there is one tip I will give you to keep in mind if you have a co-host. So if you're recording alone, all you have to do is hit record it, and then hit stop. Very easy. If you have a co-host, this is where things get interesting, especially if you're on Zoom, like apart from each other, or even if you're in person. It's a nice important step to take. but the key is to count down from 3 and then clap. So you say 3, 2, 1, and everybody claps. And the reason for that is when you clap, it makes a big spike in your audio waves, and you can then take my audio file and Marissa's audio file, even though they're separate, put them into an editor, and you can align those spikes so that our talking is aligned with each other. It's very hard to explain, but if I were to start recording 3 seconds before Marissa, and then she started recording 3 seconds after me, our entire conversation would be 3 seconds offset from each other. It wouldn't line up right. So that clap and that spike in the audio that you can align helps you keep everything together every time, which is really great. The next thing that I wrote down, step number 4, is just to edit your podcast. So I'm not going to go deep into that in this video because it's a lot to explain. And if you want a tutorial, comment on this video and I'll let you know. I can give like a editing tutorial, but you're just going to edit. Like I said, I edit in Audacity, but in the future, I'm going to be editing in Adobe Premiere Pro since we will have a video component. And we also do have like a little intro. So we have a little intro music that Marissa made just on an audio like editing software. And so I just put the intro music in, I edit our video. If there's anything we need to cut out, I'll cut it out. And then I put the music again at the end, and that's it. It's edited. Step 5, the very last step after you edit your podcast and all of that, is distribution. So for distribution, Marissa and I use Spotify for Creators. It's a platform that they have. It's formerly known as Anchor, if you've ever heard of that. It's also formerly known as Spotify for Podcasters. So Marissa and I joined when it was Anchor, and it's gone through a lot of rebranding since Spotify acquired it. But all that to say, it's a very nice platform. So Spotify for Creators, you can actually just upload your podcast. So say we just filmed our whole episode, we edited it, and we saved it on our computer. Then you just upload the file to Spotify for Creators, and they'll distribute it everywhere. They'll distribute it to iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anything you can think of, Amazon Music, anywhere that you find podcasts, they can send it there for you. And that makes it so easy to do a podcast. There are other softwares that are similar to this, like Podbean. If you've ever heard of Podbean, there's plenty of distribution platforms, but working with Spotify we found to be really enjoyable, really easy. So I would highly recommend it. So as far as logistically how to start a podcast, how to actually get started, that's it. That's a wrap. Now, if you ask me, one of the most important parts of it is marketing. I'm a marketer, and that is my day job. That's what I do. I'm a marketer at heart, and I know that if you don't market it, no one will find it. No one will listen to it. So that's a huge aspect as well. But this video is only about the logistics, how to just get started, just how to make the podcast itself, the steps you need to follow. If you're like, I want to start a podcast, but I have no idea where to begin. Hopefully this video outlined that for you. Marketing, social media, advertising, that kind of stuff, it's for another day. It's important, but it's not for this video. So that's kind of a wrap on how to start a podcast from the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I also hope I didn't miss anything, but definitely comment below if you have any questions, and I will be sure to answer them. And I hope you guys enjoy. Definitely check out our podcast, We Run on Coffee, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow's Vlogmas video. Bye!